Cześć! W zeszłym roku na naszym kanale pojawił się materiał, w którym opowiadaliśmy Wam o powstającej nowej odsłonie Heroesów. Tak się składa, że parę dni temu mieliśmy przyjemność gościć przedstawicieli studia Unfrozen, które właśnie tworzy Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era i zadać im parę pytań osobiście. Trochę ciekawych rzeczy się dowiedzieliśmy, także nie przedłużam. Posłuchajcie, co o grze mają do powiedzenia sami twórcy. Na początek najważniejsze pytanie, czy co tydzień gra będzie witać nas zapowiedzią astrologów?
In fact, we do have the interface set up for this in our current build, where right now there are no effects, of course, but the interface is prepared for a week of something happening. Not only that, but we're also thinking about adding a month, for example, let's say a month of progress that would make it so that for this entire month you would be able to build one more building a day than usual. Or the month of playing, which no one likes, because if you're a pro player or if you're playing Heroes and you have a tendency to not recruit your units immediately, you know how hard that month hits, because it usually takes all your creatures away from the recruitment dwellings.
Astrologowie zatem powrócą?
Yes.
Jakimi grami inspirowaliście się przy tworzeniu własnej odsłony?
If we're talking about only Heroes games, that would be Heroes 2, Heroes 3, Heroes 5. And if we're talking like generally, King's Bounty was also like a big inspiration for Olden Era in terms of the mechanics and hexes, of course. So generally, these were the main titles that really inspired us to do what we do in Olden Era.
Do kogo skierowana jest wasza gra? Głównie do fanów serii, czy także do nowych graczy?
Of course, we want fans and like people who've been following the series for many years to enjoy the game, but we also want to tap into the new audiences and show people that Heroes is a really fun an interesting franchise and the game is really enjoyable. So with that, we were thinking about the special easy-to-use mechanics. There will be a tutorial, we're working on it very hard for it to be very elaborate. So people who are not familiar with the franchise can enjoy the game and start the game, even though it's a very kind of rich in mechanics game. But even with that, we introduce levels of difficulties. For example, for multiplayer, there would be like matchmaking system that will be based on the rank, on the skill of the player. So you won't have to fight with like pros if you're just a newcomer. So that is absolutely fine. And especially different difficulty levels as well. So people can start, with impossible modes or with very light ones. Remember, like we have 5 levels. It can be changed, but
Currently it's 5 as from what I recall. I think there was a 6th, but it's not.
yeah, well, it's still like in development, so some things will be tweaked, but more than 3 at least.
Co w takim razie zmienia się po przełączeniu poziomu trudności?
The primary thing that changes with the difficulty level are your starting resources, like in Heroes 3. For example, if you were to start on the easiest difficulty in Heroes 3, you would be starting with lots of gold, rare resources, lumber, and ore. While when you were playing on the impossible difficulty, you would have none unless you were playing PvP, which had like a separate rule that allowed you to start with enough gold to hire an extra hero. We have a sort of similar system here where your difficulty that you choose defines how many starting resources you have. From what I recall, it also affects how many creatures there will be among the guards that you fight against for all the resource hubs and dwellings.
Skoro mowa o zasobach, jakie zasoby znajdą się w grze? Dostaniemy coś nowego?
We have the 2 basic resources that have been in the game since Heroes 1 all the way to Heroes 7, which is obviously wood and ore. They are your like bread and butter when it comes to building structures. From rare resources, we have gems, crystals, and mercury, known to everyone who has played Heroes 3 and Heroes 4, as well as Heroes 2. And we have alchemical dust, which replaces sulfur. And alchemical dust is a special resource that we use mostly for upgrades in our game. So like upgraded dwellings, upgrading items, spells, and so on.
W grze mają znaleźć się różne nowości, w tym możliwość ulepszenia prawie wszystkiego. Czy to prawda?
When it comes to like an absolute novelty, the things that have not been there in previous parts of the game, in previous Heroes games, are definitely the faction laws and our spell upgrade system. Those are the two aspects of our game that have not shown up before. From things that return and will be familiar to people are definitely the so-called alt upgrades. So being able to choose between one of two upgrades and switching between them whenever you want to. So people who have played Heroes 5 and really enjoyed that will be very glad to see that it's an Olden Era as well.
Skoro już przy tym temacie jesteśmy, co nowego, a co znanego zobaczymy w grze, jeśli chodzi o magię.
We have 4 schools of magic: the Daylight School, the Nightshade School, the Primal Magic School, and the Arcane Magic School. Those are the 4 basic schools of magic that you will find in our mage guilds. And they have like their own spells that do various things depending on which school you're like specializing into. One thing that comes with our magic system is that we were looking into making magic heroes feel more enjoyable to play and a little bit more unique compared to Might Heroes. So magic heroes are capable of casting 2 spells a turn if they have a unique skill that is available exclusively to them.
Prawa frakcyjne. Wspomniałeś o nich, może powiesz nam coś więcej?
Every faction has their own set of laws that do different things and affect the specific faction in different manners. The best way to describe the faction laws would be something along the lines of a unique tech tree for your faction, whether you're playing Propolis or you're playing Dungeon. You have your own set of laws that you can treat as like an extra technology tree that you get to learn specific laws from. Now, how to do that? You basically, all you need to do is essentially play the game. Because in order to gain faction law points, you just have to clear the map with your heroes, and as they gain experience, as they capture objects and such, they will generate those points. Some of those points are also passively generated by your town halls.
Jak będzie wyglądał rozwój bohatera?
We have the basic hero progression known from Heroes 3, Heroes 5, Heroes 2, where your hero has a set of skills that they can learn, and there's like a certain chance for them to pop up anytime you level up. They have access to sub-skills on advanced and expert level, which are familiar to those who have played Heroes 5, because it had a sort of similar system there as well. And as you level up your hero, there's this thing that we currently call the subclass, which is sort of inspired by the subclass system from Heroes 4. Namely, each hero class can choose from 2 different subclasses, depending on what skills they invest their points to. This is highlighted in the game through a special icon that will tell you whether the skill you're picking is just a skill you're taking because you like it, or a skill for the subclass you're looking for.
Opowiedzcie nam coś więcej o kampanii.
Early access version will feature campaign. It won't be as rich as in the final 1.0 version, of course. The campaign is non-linear, so there would be some dialogue branches, like an RPG system in that. So with your choices, you can affect what is happening in the campaign and also in the mission as well. We're trying to give a person that is playing the game some kind of freedom and
individuality.
Individuality, yeah. So this is the story, and campaign story is like the thing that really catches people somehow. Like they have these hooks, they are emotional attachment. I know it, like judging by myself. So we're trying to give every player individuality in their choices and pay up for what they choose for.
Jakie dostaniemy tryby gry?
For PvP, we have 3 modes. The first one is the classic mode that everyone that currently plays Heroes 3 knows pretty well. Other templates play in this mode. In Heroes 3 you have up to 8 heroes that you can recruit and play them and expand with them across the map. In Olden Era, from what I recall, we have currently 10 heroes. This may, of course, as development goes, this may change. Yeah, it may go down, it may go up. That's really, that's up to our game design team. So that's like one of our modes, and it's the most classical one, the one that people playing online these days in Heroes 3 will immediately remember. Then we have the single hero mode, which is also going to be familiar to fans of Heroes 3, where you only get to play one hero, and if that hero dies, you immediately lose the game because you don't get another one. One of the formats, one of the templates that is known for this kind of play is in Heroes 3 a dual mode. But also another one that's kind of recent, and I've seen a lot of people suggest through feedback on our server, is Memory Lane, which also focuses on single hero play. So people that like those modes in Heroes 3 will be able to enjoy our single hero mode. And then there's the third one, which is Arena. This one has its roots in Heroes 5 mostly, because that's where all kinds of arena formats have been the most popular. And that comes from the mode that was also introduced in Heroes 5, which was like an arena dual mode, something like this. People simply made their own versions of that, and they gained popularity. And we saw that, and we thought to ourselves, people like playing this kind of mode, where you get to choose your hero, you pick your skills, spells, you pick your army, and then you just go straight into battle against another player. And that's more or less the essence of Arena as it is. You pick everything, you skip the whole economical part of Heroes, and you just go and brawl with one another.
Ile znanych z poprzednich części jednostek zobaczymy w grze? Dostaniemy jakieś nowe?
Depends on the faction.
Depends on the faction, and yeah, so we can say it's a mix of both, but we can give an exact number or a percentage of what is new, what is old. We try to make certain that there are familiar aspects, we have shown in our dungeon reveal, for example, where dungeons more or less as people remember it, with a touch of new aspects from the lore that we focus on, as well as Necropolis, which is also a rather classical take. But we also have some new elements, of course, some of the neutral units, for example, that we have showcased.
Yeah, and completely new factions.
Czy planujecie wydać grę na inne platformy niż PC? Może wersja mobilna?
So at the moment we don't have such plans. We of course want to release the game on Steam. We want it to be available from PCs, of course. And of course we were thinking about console, but making the UI adaptable and kind of digestible for consoles is a really something different. So we would need to we can't do it right now. We will we have these plans. We are thinking about that, but at the moment, yeah, PC is our main platform, and at the moment. There are no plans of releasing Olden Era as a mobile game.
Z jakich zmian w grze zasugerowanych przez społeczność cieszycie się najbardziej?
So this is a bit of a complicated question because there are a lot of wishes that a community has, and not all of them can be met at the same time. Sometimes they are conflicting, so we have to pick and choose which is overall going to be a better idea. To me particularly, one of the quality of life changes that I enjoy very much is it's a very simple change, but just the button that our game design team has done for being able to recruit all units basically from the get-go right as you enter the screen for your town. That's extremely handy, because I remember playing Heroes 3, playing Heroes 5, and having to go through multiple screens, at least 2 or 3, to be able to do so. And it's something that you don't think much about it, but as you play more and more, you kind of realize that you're saving first a couple of seconds, then minutes, and it accumulates into hours of saved time.
Kto tworzy muzykę do gry?
Paul Romero, of course, involved in creating music for Olden Era. Chris Velasco, also very renowned maestro, is also involved in the music, so he's also composing like themes and other stuff for us. And also, like the third one in the mix is Heroes Orchestra. They will be orchestrating all the music, and they will be responsible for the final sound of the game, like music-wise. I mean, we in development and in the music is like a very good highlight of our approach generally, because our approach is to have like this mix of old and new. We want to have some legacy, we want to have some new tunes, new stuff, and Hero Orchestra will be helping us to glue everything together, so the music will feel consistent, and all of those people that I mentioned are absolutely massive professionals. We're really excited, like, even though I'm really focused on answering your question, we're really, really excited that we managed to do such a collaboration, and we're very excited to kind of share our results when the game will be available.
Czy dostaniemy polski dubbing lub lokalizację?
So from the standpoint of localization, we definitely want to avoid ambiguous stuff that has been there for some time, like in some games. Other than that, at the moment we are focused on the English dubbing, and maybe in the future we don't have these plans like anywhere like set in stone, but like there is always a chance. But right now we do not have these plans. But that would be like a good idea, actually.
Yeah. However, you will get a Polish localization, and
of course,
we are making sure that it will have a quality that is expected of us.
Czy macie w planach wsparcie modów?
So we're aware of the penchant that people have for modding in general. It's something we can obviously see among people that play Heroes 7, Heroes 5, Heroes 3, even Heroes 4. And some are ambitious enough to even make mods for Heroes 2. So we see that there's a huge movement across the community, across all games, when it comes to wanting to make something of your own. While we do not have plans to do that during the early access, once the game goes into 1.0 version, that's when we'll be thinking of how to approach modding, because like we have said with other elements and systems we've got in the game, we want to do this right so that people can enjoy it and feel comfortable while doing so.
Kiedy usłyszymy o nowej, 6. tajemniczej frakcji?
Soon.
When it's time.
Yeah, well, soon.
Z czego jesteście najbardziej dumni, jeśli chodzi o Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era?
The first thing that is like my point of pride when it comes to this project is the fact that while working on music, we get to do it with Heroes Orchestra.
You stole mine. My point.
I've been following their success, like their progress, for many, many years, because I'm also a person that very involved when it comes to music in general, not like in private life as well.
Bart actually was performing with Heroes Orchestra in December.
Yes. So having them here as part of our project, and having them as a group that we work with, that we talk to, that we share memories with, is like a little bit of let's call it a wish that I had when I was younger, and I get to realize now. When it comes to the game itself, to like the gameplay aspect of Olden Era, I feel like the most interesting bits to me are the faction laws. We've seen those things in other strategy games, as technology trees, as god upgrades, as like build paths and so on. So having this implemented into Olden Era is really refreshing, because it's like another layer for the player to realize themselves as they play, as they specialize in what and on what they want to focus on. It adds basically another tool for people to express themselves as players.
Yeah, and for me, actually, when Bart was talking, I thought about the second thing, so I also have two things. So the first thing as well, music. We are absolutely honored to work with Paul Anthony Romero here, because he was like, his music was heart and soul of Heroes games for decades. This is a massive success for us that he accepted our offer to work with us. Also, as I'm really also very involved in the music stuff that we have, also working with Chris Velasco with like super different kind of, it's not like he's not like having a super different portfolio, but he has like a very like his music, the character of his music is really a bit different to what we usually expect from the Heroes games, which is also very exciting for us and for me personally as well. And having community, people from the community actually working on the game, I consider a massive success. And having all of that together, it was really a complicated task, trust me, to manage everything to work out. This is why we're really proud of our December announcement, the music composer announcement, and it really inspires me, and I really feel absolutely honored to work with all of these people, because all of these people are maestros and great professionals in what they do. This is the first thing that I'm really, really proud of. And the second thing is that for some of the Heroes games, it wasn't super obvious for a newcomer how to start to play this game. And I think so. Our game is really adapted to newcomers. And even if you're not a super hardcore and Heroes fan like Bart is,
played it all.
Yeah. If you haven't been following the game for decades, you can just start playing Olden Era, and you will get this idea, you will get this feeling. This is the second thing that really, really kind of makes me believe in our game, because it will be available for people who know how to play Heroes games, and for people who maybe like strategy games or turn-based games or turn-based tactic games or whatever. It is chewable, and it is not super overcomplicated, even though it has a lot of deep systems and deep mechanics. So I think these are two things that really make me proud of in the project.
Czy studiu Unfrozen i Ubisoftowi uda się wskrzesić tę kultową markę? Mam taką nadzieję, bo Heroesy, myślę, że nie tylko w moim sercu, mają specjalne miejsce. Cieszy na pewno fakt, że twórcy słuchają feedbacku graczy, że próbują wyciągnąć z poprzednich części to, co najlepsze, ale także dodać coś nowego, coś, co wyróżni grę na tle kultowych poprzednich odsłon Heroesów i ich konkurentów. Dajcie koniecznie znać w komentarzu, co na ten moment sądzicie o Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era. Dzięki za uwagę i do zobaczenia!